Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in for another Yo Boy Bean video. Today, we're going to be talking about the brand new release, Mandalorian and Grogu. I went to my local theaters yesterday to go watch it, and these are going to be my thoughts about the movie. Before we get right into it, remember this is a spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled about the movie, do not continue. Alright, let's talk about the first act of the movie. The first act of the movie, we all start off as we are on this snow planet. We don't know what snow planet. I don't remember if they explained it to us what we're on, but we're on the snow planet and we're hunting down a Imperial remnant that is pretty much taken hostage of these villages, blah blah blah. And then one and only Mando shows up and he starts sneaking about, and then he takes out starts beginning to take out the Imperial remnants. Obviously, I think this first act was so actually really peak because we get to see the AT-ATs, a new form of the snow trooper where they have their like hood piece on their mouths like down, and it has like this black stormtrooper look. We'd never seen that before. That's really cool in my eyes. And then we pretty much go through this whole bit of him attacking the stormtroopers on the snow planet. Grogu in this first act is actually pretty good. He's actually well CGI'd, I guess, or I don't know. He kind of reminds me of like the Yoda puppet from back in like the 80s and 90s, where they actually have him like doing stuff compared to the TV show where he's just kind of just standing there, not really doing much, and then an occasional like arm raise and all that. Obviously, the TV show doesn't have the budget like Mandalorian and Grogu, so yeah. But I think Act 1 was really, really good for the first bit. Obviously, we go back to the sand desert or beach planet from like the last episode of season 3. We get to see those guys, and then we get to see Zeb. I love Zeb in this movie. He actually looks really good, and I think they got the voice actor who does him into the movie, so he looks really good, he sounds really good, he moves really good, and all that. Now, Act 2 of the movie, we see Mando obviously go back to the beach rebel planet to go talk to the boss lady. I don't really remember her name, but he goes back there with Grogu, and then she sends them to Now Hutta. Now, I do like is that they use the Hutts again, because the last time we saw them was in the Book of Boba Fett, and they're just kind of like, they're alright. The twins, they were alright. But I like that they sent him back to meet them in Now Hutta, and he gets to Now Hutta. Also, Now Hutta in this movie looks really good. Like, I'll say this movie visually looks really, really good. So he goes to Now Hutta and then meets the twins. Also, note, I love that they use like these B1 and B2 like old like parts and made them into their own. Because I think the last time we saw the live action like droids like that from the Clone Wars is the season 3 of Mando with the B2s. I think that was the last time, but these guys looked really good. So Mando meets the twins. Twins tell him to go to this moon called Shakar, I think, if I remember right. And they have to rescue, or he has to rescue the nephew, if everybody remembers right, Rata, the Jabba's son. So he goes to Shakar, and obviously he's trying to find intel about where Rata is. Obviously Rata is pretty popular on the planet because he is a arena fighter, a gladiator pretty much, And then Mando meets up with Rada, and Rada is pretty much like, I don't want to go. Fuck that. I don't want to be Jabba's replacement. I just want to be me, which I respect it. But Rada is pretty funny. He doesn't speak like Jabba's language the whole movie. He just speaks like some random Detroit guy the whole movie, which I understand movie purposes. I don't think you want to be listening to like the language that Jabba speaks the whole movie. But like at the same time, it's just like, it's funny to me because it's this big buff like slug, and he's talking in this like he's talking like a Detroit dude. It's really funny. But like I like Rada's character in this act because he's very like, oh, I don't want to be like Jabba. Like I don't want to be this crime lord. I don't want to take over anything. All of that. Obviously, they run into this crime lord, Mr. Coin. Obviously, Mr. Coin was the commander that the rebel lady sent Mando to this planet to go to the Hutts to get Hutt information about Mr. Coin, but Rata already knows Mr. Coin because Mr. Coin is this Imperial commander on Shakar that has Rada like on a deal or something to fight in these arena fights. Obviously, Mando doesn't know that, so that's a little interesting. So Mando is trying to get Rata out because the twins want Rata back to Nal Hutta. So Mando is trying to get the Rata back to Nal Hutta, but Rata doesn't want to go. So Mando tries to go talk to Mr. Coin, and Mr. Coin is like, no, we're gonna keep him. Tomorrow's his last match, arena fight, whatever, and he's gonna die from, I don't remember what they called it, but it's because it's a big thing where they have to keep fighting and then Rata just dies of exhaustion or whatever. So that happens. So Mando was like, okay, I'm just gonna go break him out myself. Mando tries to go break him out, gets gassed, and then ends up in this arena fight. I'll say the Rata and Mando fight was pretty interesting. It was pretty cool. I think the coolest part about that whole arena bit is seeing like all the new creatures, because we have never seen any creatures like this. And it also, quick note, I don't know if anybody's noticed, the arena fight is like the board, the chessboard thingy, the hologram game that everybody, every Star Wars, like Han Solo and Chewbacca plays. That's what the arena looks like. If you guys take a look at it, obviously I don't have an image, but if you ever watch that movie, keep your eye out on that. So Rata and Mando fight off against these creatures, and then they break out of the arena, and then Rata and Mando all escape off Shakar. They capture Mr. Coin, the Imperial Remnant. They capture him, bring him back to the rebel base, whatever. And then they go back, and the rebel lady is like, oh, you double-crossed the twins, so you better watch out. They're gonna come and get ya. And then Mando said, hey, I'll handle it. I want to take a break. And then Rada and all of them go back to I don't remember what the planet's called, but like back to Mando's home. And then Rada goes back on himself and all that. So yeah. Okay, so for Act 3, pretty much we go back to Mando's homeworld. He's just kind of like chilling now. And then, yeah, he's just chilling, doing stuff with Grogu, teaching him how to build a ship, repair, all that jazz. And then Mando calls in the little, if you guys remember the little short, like mold looking dudes, he calls those dudes back up to come do some modifications on his ship because he wants it to go faster on the new Razor Crest that he got. And then they do that. Then it gets to the nighttime, they're all sleeping and all that. And then I think the man that really stole his own scenes, I kind of wish he had more scenes in this movie, is Embo. I think the last time we saw Embo was Clone Wars, I think. Like, I'm trying to think, I don't think we saw him again in anything other projects. So Embo shows up, in all of his glory, and he looks so good live action. Like, I thought he was gonna look like terrible, but he looks really good. Like, I would give credit to this movie. They make these, like, I thought Zeb was not gonna look good and all, and I thought like Embo was not gonna look good, but they made these characters like really cool looking, really, really good looking for live action, from like cartoon to live action, and it looks so good. But so Embo shows up, takes out Mando, and then Mando tries to fight him off, of course, tells Grogu and the little mole people to run away, and then they run away. They see that Mando gets captured, and no, the people that hired Embo to capture Mando was the twins, the Now Hutta, the Hutt cartel. They hired Embo to capture Mando because if you remember, Mando double crossed them and they didn't deliver Rada to him. So Embo takes Mando back to Now Hutta. Then they end up in Now Hutta, and then Mando gets pretty much like a talking to, like, oh, you double crossed us, blah blah blah. Then they take his helmet off, and this was a cool scene in my head. Pedro Pascal, great actor. He said to them like, oh, you took my helmet off, you gotta die now. And they're all just laughing at him like, ha 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 ha, that ain't gonna happen. And then he turns to the right, and he sees that Rada got captured actually. So the twins captured Rada. Rada's kind of like getting like slowly tortured or something like that in this like electric chair. So he's slowly getting tortured. And then Mando gets dropped into the floor like a Rancor pit. He gets dropped into the floor. Of course, they have like a sort of Rancor pit. Then it's like this swamp water type of pit. And first enemies he fight are like these like fish people, fishmen, I guess. He's like fighting these guys. Then he defeats them. Blah blah blah. Then the twins are like, oh, I'm all pleased, ha 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 ha, here's your helmet back. And then he turns around, and it's this big white snake looking sea monster. It actually looked really, really cool. Looked really good. That's, like I said before, I'll give them props on this, that their creatures in this movie, they look so good. They look so good compared to other like past Star Wars movies that they've done. So the creatures in this look so amazing. So Mando turns around, oh my god, it's a big freaking white snake sea monster. Mando tries to fight him off. Obviously he gets bit. He's hurting real bad. The twins tell him that like, oh, you can survive this and beat this and all that, but you can't survive the poison that the white snake thingy poisoned with. And then Grogu and the mole people actually showed up on Now Hutta to free Din or Mando, whatever. They try to free him, and then they like go all the way in the sewers. They see him fighting this white snake thingy. Grogu plays the explosive. This is another thing that I like, is that they actually gave Grogu like kind of a purpose. Like he's actually kind of cool in this. So they have an explosive on the like a sewer pipe to get Mando out. They do that, Mando escapes, and then it just turns into a full-on war where Mando has no weapons or anything like that, makes Grogu and the mole people leave, and then Mando kind of just takes out like a bunch of droids in this jungle, and it's pretty sweet. But then he passes out because the poison is like getting too much for him. But then we find out that Grogu actually stayed behind, because why wouldn't he? Grogu, that's his like dad. So Grogu stayed behind and noticed like, oh, he's all messed up. So I'm gonna fix up his wound with my force abilities. But he doesn't know about the poison, so Mando's kind of like knocked out for like a good solid, probably like a day. And then Grogu has to take care of him, pretty much live by himself, which this like whole movie is about, like, or this whole act 3 is about, like, oh, how are you gonna like take care of Grogu when he's gonna outlive you? Which I'm pretty sure Grogu is already like older than him, I'm pretty sure, but so Grogu then takes care of him, meets this like old fish dude on like a fishing hut. The fishing hut dude gives him like medicine to help him out, and then Grogu gives him the medicine, gives Mando the medicine. Next morning, Mando's back up. Okay, so for the final act of the movie, Grogu and Mando are kind of like exploring the jungle. Grogu shows him a ship that he found. It's the big bulldog or gunrunner ship that Rada was on to get off Mando's world. Obviously, the Rada, or the twins, pretty much took this ship and just threw it in the swamp. So Grogu and Mando go to the ship. There's like some weird fish people in there, so Mando takes care of those guys with ease. And then Mando pretty much takes him out. Then Mando hits Grogu with the, we can run, but the Hutts are gonna keep coming after us, or we can stay and do something about them. And Grogu and Mando are like, okay, let's do something about them. And then, so Mando takes the ship and pretty much rams it into the Hutt's like main central area in Nalhada. Rams it. Mando pretty much went into his John Wick mode and like took out a bunch of droids. I mean, I don't really need to go into detail. Like, he just takes out a bunch of droids. It's really cool. That's one thing I'll say about the Mando and Grogu movie too, that the action scenes are super good, like really fun. So they go through this, they take out a bunch of droids, then they run into the twins, and then Din, Mando, whatever, are like, oh, you see my face, so you gotta die, I promise it, a promise. And then the whole fight breaks out. Rada gets freed by Grogu. Mando is fighting now Embo. The fight between Embo and Mando is really good. So Grogu frees Rada. Rada pretty much fights the twins. Then Rada and the twins went right over like the Rancor pit door droppy thingy, and then they, all three of them, like dropped to the snake, but Grogu actually saved Rada. While he's doing that, the Mando pretty much tossed, or was with toss Embo onto the Rancor pit with the twins. Embo falls down there, but Embo doesn't die. He just escapes. Obviously, I think Dave Filoni and the whole gang wants to use Embo more down the line. So Embo escapes. Mando, Rada, and Grogu are now together. And then the mole people that escaped brought New Republic rebel people to come destroy the Hutt's base. They show up, and then Mando's like, oh, you need to blow up our capital base, their capital, blah blah blah, while they're inside. So Mando, Grogu, and Rada are trying to escape the main central building. Sorry. And then while they're doing that, big dogfight, pretty cool. Looks really visually really pleasing to see X-Wings blow up everything that the Hutts own and all of that. So right when they're about to bomb the main building, Mando, Rada, and Grogu make it out. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for the final act. I mean, They go back to the beach, Rebel Beach homeworld thingy. Rada tells Mando, hey, I'm gonna go join up with the New Republic, even though I think they don't have a uniform big enough for him, even though Zeb said they did. I don't think they do. So Rada is now a New Republic officer, which is pretty cool to think about. Like Jabba, the bad guy, Rada, the good guy. So it's pretty cool. Mando then pretty much takes Grogu and probably goes back home. That's pretty much it. Alright, to cap off this video, we're going to talk about my flaws of the movie and my goods of the movie, pretty much. Pretty much my opinions about the movie. Pacing wise, it felt a little weird. Like, first we start off on the snow planet, then we instantly went to Nal Hutta, then we went to Shakira, and we're freeing Rada really quick. And then we're back on Nal Hutta, where we go back to Mando's homeworld. Or not homeworld, but wherever his home. We go back there, then we go back to Nal Hutta. Then, pacing wise, it felt a little weird. Another thing that's really weird, I know my buddy that I went to the movies with, he said, I think Jabba, like if Rada was talking in a Jabba voice the whole time, I think people would be really annoyed by it. But like, I just can't shake that dude, like just talking like normal, like super normal. I don't really like it. It was really weird. But that's really about it I have with this movie. Like if you don't go in there thinking it's like gonna be like another like episode movie, like episode 4 or something like that, then you're gonna have a bad time. This movie is like one of the better like Star Wars story movies that they've done, like after Rogue One, Han, like the Solo movie, all of that. But I'm gonna give this movie a solid 7 out of 10. It was good. I liked the combat. It felt like Star Wars John Wick. But pacing wise, it was all off. But I liked the movie. It was really good. Hopefully you guys will go check it out. Go experience it yourself. And I will catch you guys later. There's going to be 2 videos popping up right now. And if you guys want to go check those out, go ahead. Alright, see you guys.